Do with this. Okay. All right. See what people are doing on this Friday. Good Friday, matter of fact. I think you just got the notification on your phone, babe, that I'm live. What's up, Razon? Good to see you. I only fished the cups. I see you. What you guys doing this Good Friday? Salute and return. What's up, Goyle? Man, it's been a while since I seen you. How you doing? Mac 11 was cracking. Reno. Hey, for the 775. I'm in the 775 myself. Good to see you. Francis. What's up, the devil? Good to see you, homie. Lou. Ramon Droops from the east side. Trucking with old snapper. Gorko, door security. SF Giants, in fact it is. Yep. What's up, Glenn? Good to see you. What's up, Rob? Misled Loyalty, Rob. Hey, CL. Chrissy Menendez. Salute. So, Warriors tonight. Yep. Debunking the lies. I like that handle right there. That's a good one. I'll give it a couple minutes, but speaking of Mr. Loyalty, Rob, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, I suggest you do. What's up, Ray C? Good to see you. He has great content, a very unique perspective from really anybody else that I've seen on YouTube. You know, as a South Sider, but from Northern California. He's done state time. He's done Fed time. He's down there in Mex right now. He's been in Mex a lot. Prayers for your health, of course, always. And so has a perspective on things going on down there also. And so the Cesar Hernandez thing, right? So this was my thought, and he did a video about it. I suggest you guys go check it out, right? Uh, what's up, Conrad Mao Hustle? Duncan, Joe, I see you. Ray C. Someone need to throw dubs, no more alcohol during lives. What's up, Sadi? I appreciate that, Goyle. It's all good. So, with the Cesar Hernandez situation, right? It. So I've been to Mexico, of course. That doesn't mean I know all about how things go down there, right? That's far outside of my zone, you know. But if you look at the situation, I think kind of from a common sense perspective, okay. And you guys let me know what it sounds like to you. But what up, Wolfpack? You have a guy who escapes from doing a life sentence in a level 4 prison, right? And it's kind of misleading to say he escaped from prison. He didn't escape from the prison. He escaped on a transport from the prison, which, I mean, freedom is freedom regardless, right? But it's not as if he broke out of the prison. But anyways, he escapes, right? And he goes down to Mex, and within a very short period of time, he has acquired some firearms, right? He's got some weapons. He's living in a very nice, expensive house. He has an escape plan already set up. Hold on, this. We're going. There we go. He, he has an escape plan already set up. He's in a gated community. If you ask for a shout out, I'm gonna put you in timeout. Watch, this is how it works. See? There you go. I ain't doing this. The Mara dude, okay. I'm gonna talk about the Mara situation too, because there's some whole lot of bullshit. I've seen Dubs' video earlier. I like a lot of Dubs' content when he talks about prison and his experiences and that kind of stuff. He does it, better than most. But his whole take on this situation was anyways, I'll get to that in a second. Let me finish this one first. So Cesar Hernandez runs away from a transport in prison, and all of a sudden he's in Mexico in a gated community. He's got guns, he's got a change of clothes, he's got a car. He has clearly a plan for escape. And that doesn't happen by accident. That's not something that you can put together just independent on your own, right? You can cross the border yourself. Anybody can do that. But to get situated the way that he was situated, somebody was supporting him, right? Some group or groups or whatever was supporting him. I think that's kind of common sense, right? What up, Big Gibbs? Good to see you. Uh, and good to have a wrench. And so he's in a situation. Law enforcement cracks down on him, right? It's this multi-agency group. They find him. He's surrounded. All these 300 cops or whatever the fuck. He's surrounded so much though that they can't get the vehicle necessary for them to be able to break in, or to breach the perimeter. So it looks like it's incompetent, but it's not incompetent. These are professionals. It I think it's intentional incompetence. It's not everybody, like every individual in Mexico's on the take. But you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do what you're told, right? And so uh, they, if you ask to be a mod, you're gonna get put in timeout. That's for 10 minutes. There we go. So if you have a wrench and you see somebody in here that doesn't look familiar and they're saying some JCash shit, feel free to just put them in timeout. Uh, so, anyways, because I get distracted with the goofball comments, right? So, uh, anyways, shout out Jesus. It's Good Friday. Uh, so, dude, see, that's what I said. I get distracted and then I get all off track. Uh, I'm just gonna ignore the comments. You guys take care of it. It helps to be on take for certain occupations. It can be deadly for not accepting. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But so, dude is in Mex. They get surrounded, but he manages to escape. Ain't nobody that slick, Holmes, right? Like it's good for the fairy tale, but he was able to escape because he was supposed to be able to escape because people were paid to make sure that he was able to escape. That's the only reasonable explanation, you know? And so he does. But in that process, he kills a cop. Killing cops brings attention. That's true here. That's true in Mex. That's true anywhere. It's you start whacking cops. It's true in prison. That's why you don't just get off on the steals wherever you're mad at, right? Um, uh, oh, that's cool. We'll get rid of you too. That's fine. Uh, we'll just, bam. See, there you go. Now you don't have to worry about me. uh, I feel healthier, Gibbs. I appreciate that. So he escapes because he was supposed to escape. But in the process of escaping, he kills the cop. He was not supposed to kill the cop. Like, why pay? Why have everything orchestrated for you to be able to escape? But then you kill a cop in the process of escaping. I don't think that was the part of the plan. Right. And again, this is not me with inside knowledge. This is not people calling me, telling me, hey, this is how it goes. I feel like this should sort of be some degree of common sense, you know? So that brings heat, obviously, and a ton of heat on Tijuana specifically, which is a border city. Like it's a major route for all kinds of stuff. And again, that's sort of common sense. So then what do you do? Right? What do you do? Does a guy that has that much support to be in the situation that he's in, to be able to have the escape route, be in the gated community, be able to get away, everything else, does a guy with that much support just run into a shack somewhere and hide for a few days and oh shit, you caught me? No, that again, it doesn't make sense. So I was questioning, like I think they put him there. I think he got away. Obviously he got away, but I think he got away and tapped in with his support. But there's levels to this shit in Mex, and everybody has an interest in what goes on in TJ, right? Everybody that's doing criminal shit down there has an interest in TJ being wide open. Not everybody runs TJ, right? But everybody has an interest in TJ running, you know? That makes it where TJ is not running. So whatever support he had which appears to be great support, is it so great that they're also going to protect you now and they're going to say, hey, we're going to take it on the chin that TJ is shut down? Obviously not, right? Like you'd have to be a mythical level figure for that to happen. I don't know that there's very many people in the world that are that important that they could get away with. And once TJ shut down and fuck it, you're gonna have to deal with it. Like that's extreme. So I think he gets away. I think he gets out of TJ, of course. He was able to get out of everything else. But now it's time to be accountable. And so my question to Rob, I had left a comment on one of his community posts. And I was like, hey, what do you think? Because Rob's in Mex. Rob is much more familiar with how things work in Mexico than I am. And including in that lifestyle, if you will. So I was like, hey, bro, what do you think? And and he agreed, which to me is kind of confirmation, right? And then he did a video. And in his video, he had details that I would not have imagined, that I didn't know. So I suggest you guys go watch it. I'm not going to get into what those details are because I want you to go support the homie and his page. Uh, but he reached the same conclusion, right? But my thing was, I think these dudes are either gonna execute Cesar and then point to the body, be like, "Hey, fool, there he is over there," right? As kind of a mea culpa, right? Like I'm sorry. Uh, hey, sorry for what he did. We took care of it. Uh, or they're gonna hand him over, right? They're gonna hand him over. And Mexico is notorious for groups involved in activities handing over people to the authorities, right? It's not only a form of warfare, it's a form of payment, right? It's cops gotta bust people sometimes. Like you have to show something. You can't let everybody get away with everything. Some people have to get caught, right? And so some people do. And sometimes people get caught because they're stupid. Other times people get caught because the same people that sent them on a mission also sent them to go get caught because, hey, sorry, homie, it's your turn, right? And I personally know people that have been in that situation, right? That yeah, you had a foolproof plan, except they were tipped off that you were coming and you were never going to get away. You weren't meant to get away. You were meant to get busted because it was your turn to get busted, right? Somebody had to. And so if that's the culture, how much more do you say that about somebody who just killed a fucking cop? So, anyways, check out Misled Loyalty, Rob. Like I said, he has more details that I won't even get into. But it seems that he agrees that Cesar Hernandez did, in fact, make it out of TJ. And then he was returned to TJ for the purpose of being arrested. And what he said made a lot of sense to me, you know? What's up, William Robertson? Good to see you. Serial killer, that's right. Yo, it's a rascal living it up over here, Cali. Have you put on a couple pounds or am I tripping? You look good. I'm trying to put on some weight. I probably have put on a couple pounds, actually. What's up, Ron Garcia? Shout out downtown LA in the building. Can you imagine being American? Moral Jacobs using each other. Was he on the active yard in Delano? He was. What's up, Barney Cinemas? That's right. What page? Misled Loyalty, Rob. I don't know if he's still in the comments. If he's in the comments, I'll have him leave a comment. Or if he's still listening, you should leave a comment. And then I'll pin your comment so people see it. Hey, gracias, 415 on mine. I'm actually, at this precise moment, I'm actually in Nevada. But I'll be back on Monday. But once you're in the high security out there, they turn their backs on them. They're especially stressed out. Dude's got all kind of pages. Maybe they used them to take out that lady. Yeah, that wasn't the case. Who was the homie that you posted that vid? I'll go check it out after this. Misled Loyalty Rob. Here, I'll pin his. There. That channel right there is the one that I'm talking about. So yeah, go check out his channel. Check out his video. He's got fire content about all kinds of stuff. You guys like hearing about like MM members or old kind of historical stuff? tap in with him, but he only speaks from his personal experience, which I find kind of refreshing, to be honest. But he's been around for a long time, and he's been around a lot of situations, and so yeah, it's like I said, it's fire content. Uh, did you see Blueface posted up with the homeboys and that Norteño rapper from Vice? I did not, Palmetto. What's up, Devil? We bumping music later tonight or what, bro? No, not tonight, and not from the phone. No, I'm just doing this epoxy. Good to see you, man. Molly's making dinner, and I'm just hanging out, man. So there's a Cesar Hernandez situation. I was gonna do a video, uh, but I figured I'll just go live, and then I was also going to do a video about reacting, which I still might next week, but by then it'll probably be kind of old news. This dude, this supposed MS-13 gang member, right, from Maryland, that's been deported and is in El Salvador. There's so much hype around this guy that is ridiculous. So Dubs did a video today on his Dub S channel, right? What up, Blue? Dubs did a video today on his Dub S channel. And Braxton, good to see you. And you know, anytime somebody starts off ranting about the mainstream media being full of propaganda, please understand that the phrase mainstream media is also in fact propaganda. It's like it's if you want to put me in time, yeah, I don't know. Uh that is propaganda in itself, right? It's making it seem like uh we could just hide that guy forever. Solid behind blue eyes, Pelican Bay straight prison hunger striker. Send mines in return. That is another channel that if you're interested in content about prisons, specifically the California prison system, there's no better real channel to look at, right? Considering that Scoops is currently incarcerated in the California prison system, and so yeah, great channel. And we got some stuff coming up next week that I think is gonna bake some of your guys' noodles, man. But salute to him and his wife and his family and yeah, good to see you guys. So Dubs does this video, right? And like I said, the whole mainstream media thing is media propaganda. Yes, of course it is, right? Um, it's propaganda on both from all angles, though. It's just saying mainstream media is conservatives' way of trying to say that they're not going to tell you the truth, right? It's it's all just bullshit, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that there's no truth, that there's no facts. That doesn't mean that we can't find what is real. When it comes to this dude from Maryland, the supposed MS-13 gang member, let's get a little background, right? Let's do a little background here, and let's look at it for what it is. And my position, and he starts off with, if you support him, then you must think open borders is the way it should be. I don't think open borders make any sense whatsoever, and I don't know anybody who thinks that either. So again, it's just a bunch of hot air, right? I do believe that Cesar Hernandez, or that not Cesar Hernandez, that the dude, what's his name, Garcia, that he was deported illegally. Absolutely, absolutely, and everybody from the Supreme Court to other federal judges have said the same fucking thing, right? Right? No, yeah, I don't believe in open borders. That shit doesn't make any sense. And like I said, I don't know anybody who does. Kilmar, there you go. And so he, right? Yeah, now he's a human trafficker. It's so think about this. Think of it from this perspective, right? If somebody is right, if I have a solid ground to stand on, then I'm going to stand on that. And if you question that, I'm going to be able to answer that. If I don't have solid ground to stand on, I'm going to start grasping for straws, right? Well, what about this? Well, what about this new information? Oh, wait, look over here. And that's exactly what the administration is doing because they know that they fucked up. They don't care that they fucked up. But the truth is they fucked up, right? Here's a dude who came to this country illegally, yes, just like millions of other people, right? And so there you have it. That doesn't mean that you could just pick them up, put them on a plane an hour later, right? That's not how the deportation process in this country works. We are still a country with laws and policies and systems set up. So some years back, 2018, 2019, right? The dude gets picked up, right? He gets stopped in a parking lot or Prince George's County with a couple of his buddies, and the cops question him about his gang affiliation because he's wearing a Chicago Bulls hat. Now, keep in mind, for those who may not be familiar, I have worked on immigration cases involving gangs or allegations of gang membership and asylum and DACA and everything else for years, dozens and dozens and dozens of times. I have testified in countless immigration hearings. I have seen hundreds of I-213s, right, which is the document that Dubs posted in his video. Um, I I am very familiar with how this shit goes. Okay. And so he gets picked up. The local cops see him. He has a Chicago Bulls hat, particularly in the East Coast, for like the last 10, 12 years. Uh, it has been all the rage by the government that if you are from Central America and you have anything related to the Chicago Bulls, you must be MS, right? You must be MS-13 because that is their insignia. Okay, it's also a hugely popular fucking team, but whatever. But so they stop him. He has the Bulls hat on and he has a hoodie and it has money rolls covering the eyes and the mouth of various U.S. Past presidents like Benjamin Franklin people, right? Not Benjamin Franklin, but whatever people, right? And uh, and the cop writes in the report that this is indicative of Hispanic gang culture. His clothing is indicative of Hispanic gang culture. It's fucking hoodie that with money rolls on it and dead presidents. Okay, yeah, exactly, a swap meet sweater, right? And but the cop says this is indicative of Hispanic gang culture. The Bulls hat is indicative that he is an active member of MS-13 in good standing. Like they're just taking language and using it like fucking nothing. Then they also said that they have a confidential source which states that he is a member of the Western clique of MS-13. And so he goes through the immigration proceeding. And the immigration judge says, based on a confidential source, I, I mean, if you guys got this source has provided reliable information in the past. Like, if you have 1030 dropped on you in California, you know how this feels, right? Solid behind blue eyes knows exactly how this feels. That whole reliable information, trust us, but then they don't tell you where it comes from. That's rat shit, and it's corrupt, and we know that. So that's their cop out. But anyways, they say that, and so the judge says, well, yeah, man, he probably should be deported because of this confidential source, right? And so he goes through he says, I apply for asylum. I want asylum because my life is in danger if I'm returned to my home country, right? So he goes before a different judge. He goes to a couple immigration judges that say, yes, you should be deported because this confidential source says that you are a gang member. Now, mind you, first of all, a month after happens and this report is written, the cop who wrote that report, who said that they had the confidential source and said that his clothes was indicative of Hispanic gang attire, that cop got fired because he was giving information to a hooker while he was getting blowjobs and doing all kinds. So he's a shady cop. He was a crooked cop. He got fired. That cop is the one who wrote this report. But also this confidential source that said he's a part of this specific clique of MS-13, that clique is only in New York. The dude ain't in fucking New York. He's in Maryland. So you found a source that said he's part of a clique in New York, but he has never been to New York. So how does that make sense, right? I'm going to get to the DV part too. So how does that make any sense? But when he applies for asylum, that immigration judge puts a stay on his deportation and says, hey, he's not deportable. Now, that's 2019. Who was president in 2019? Trump, right? And the judge said this is not a strong case either way, right? But for now, I'm going to stay on his getting deported. The administration had time to appeal. The Trump administration in 2019, if they really believed that he was a gang member, they could have turned around and argued, nah, man, this fool's a gang member. But they didn't. Why didn't they? Because the cop that wrote the report's fucking crooked and fired, and because it was bullshit, flimsy ass grounds, anyways. I've worked on a ton of these immigration cases. They always appeal. Like, if they think they have a case and the judge says, nah, I don't think you do, they appeal and say, yes, we do, and here's more evidence. They didn't do that with this dude. Trump administration 2019 did not push the fucking issue. Why? Because they didn't have any real evidence. So he stays here. He's never been arrested for a crime. He's never been accused of a crime. He's never been convicted. He's never been arrested ever for anything. So then, fast forward, 2021, his old lady, his wife, files a restraining order. Everybody knows that in filing a restraining order, you can say whatever the fuck you want. There's no burden of proof. Now, if you want to maintain it, you have to be able to show some evidence. But to get one, you could walk in and say anything. I had a broad who got arrested for domestic violence against her dude and got out of jail and then filed for a restraining order against him, claiming he had abused her when she literally just got out of jail for domestic violence against him and he had never touched her. So you can say whatever you want in those forms. She went in and said that he put hands on her and all this other shit, right? She never pressed the issue after that. She never did it at all. And she has come out since then and said the reason she didn't push the issue is because it wasn't true. She had previously been in a relationship where domestic violence was an issue. She's a domestic violence survivor. They got into a heated argument. She got scared, thinking he's going to do to her what her last dude did to her. So she tried to be proactive and basically lied on the dude. That's what she's saying happened. She lied on him just out of fear, and then kind of came to her senses and was like, this is some bullshit. The cops were never involved. He was never arrested. Nothing. Right? So that was that. They still stayed married. He stayed living there. This isn't a case of, oh, now, she has battered widow syndrome, or whatever fucking Dub said. No, they've been stayed married. He stayed in the house. Fast forward, he gets picked up, and there's a binding order from 2019 saying you can't just deport this dude for his immigration status alone. That's exactly what they did. I'm saying if you want to deport the guy, go through the process of deportation. There's checks and balances, right? If you want to deport him, that's fine. Go through the process to deport him. But when we turn around and say that presidents or administrations don't have to go through the process, they can skip judges, they can ignore judges' orders, they can do whatever they want. They can pick you up off the street and an hour later put you on a plane to another country. If that is allowed, that is a very slippery slope. If you think the dude's a gang member, prove it. But they haven't done anything to show he's a gang member. They came out with a traffic stop in Tennessee years ago, and said, look, he was accused of human smuggling. He was not human smuggling. He was speeding on the fucking highway. There was a bunch of people in the car. But how many brown people haven't traveled down the road with a bunch of people in the car? Come on now. Like, he just got pulled over for speeding, got a ticket, and they cut him loose. All that, he was investigated for human trafficking. No, he wasn't. He wasn't even taken to jail. The cops pulled him over for speeding and cut him loose. That was it. But why is the Trump administration releasing the protective order? Why is Homeland Security talking about a traffic stop from years ago in Tennessee and blowing it out of proportion and misrepresenting what it is? Why? Because what they originally did doesn't make any sense. It wasn't legal. They already said that they made an error in deporting the dude. But now their argument, well, we made an error, but we can't bring him back because, sorry, he's outside the country. Bukele's like, well, I don't have to send him back if I don't want to. It's Bukele's being paid to keep him over there, though. You know what I mean? But to suggest that this dude is some gang leader, some human trafficker, or anything else is ridiculous. If you want to deport him, bring him back and deport him. And if the U.S. wanted to bring him back, they could. Bukele don't give a fuck. He's just going along with Trump, and Trump is desperate to be just like Bukele, right? That's all. That's his role model. Putin was his role model for a long time. Bukele is his new role model, you know? But illegal is a misnomer because when the judge says you can stay here and you're not going to be deported, you just have to check in every year, then you're no longer here illegally. By definition, a judge has given you permission to be here. So you're not here illegally. And for that to change, you have to go back before a judge. There has to be a process. He didn't do anything to change his status. He didn't break a law. He didn't not check in. It's he didn't do anything to change his circumstance. The only thing that changed is Trump's on this mission to demonize brown people and put them on planes and send them to El Salvador. And he's paying Bukele $6 million to house people over there. It's ridiculous. But true, but that doesn't mean that you get sent back, Gibbs. Plenty of people break a law by coming into this country and then still wind up getting legal citizenship here or getting legal, legal residency here. So it's, again, there is a process, right? He should have never been arrested to begin with. There was nothing to arrest him for. So you have an illegal arrest because cops can't just arrest you because you were born in another country. Like, that's not how it works, right? That hasn't been okay in a couple hundred years. And so he was arrested wrongly and then deported while a judge had said you're not going to get deported and sent out. You can't. The terrorism angle is bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all just propaganda. Yeah. I think it's clown shit, man. Really. And the fact is, a judge said he shouldn't be deported. The courts have been telling the Trump administration, you guys broke the rules. You guys fucked up. And the Trump administration is saying, we're not going to fix it and we don't care, middle finger. Okay, cool. If you want to live in a country where the president gives the middle finger to the courts and says, I can do whatever I want, El Salvador is accepting people, clearly. That's what Bukele did. Right? Which, in the case of El Salvador, on some level, it worked out okay because of the issue of gangs, right? But the issue of gangs in the United States is nothing compared to what the issue of gangs in El Salvador was. Not at all. Like, not fucking remotely close. I know people want to think that way, but it's really not. And it never has been, right? So, radically different countries. But that's what Bukele did. The court told Bukele, hey, but you can't do this shit. What are you doing? So he just fired the judges, No matter where you live, there is no place in this country, Gibbs, that resembles the degree to which gangs influence life in El Salvador, right? Like, are there certain neighborhoods that are rough? Yes. But the idea that you can't have a job, gang members have people scared to speak up on murders. Well, yeah, but that's not all that was happening in El Salvador. I'm not saying gangs aren't an influence. But the degree to which gangs influence day-to-day life in El Salvador does not exist anywhere in the U.S., right? Like, you can't live where you want. Your kids get snatched out of your house whether you like it or not. You work, you pay taxes to the gang. Like, the police can't drive down the street without permission. Like, that's not happening anywhere in the U.S., right? So to suggest that Bukele-type measures are necessary to gain control in the U.S. is wrong, right? Just factually inaccurate. And the thing is, you go to prison over there, you're there for life, right? there's there is no hearings, there's no parole, there's no nothing. Once you get put in that prison, you die in that prison. I have a friend, a family, a childhood friend, who died in that prison. Right? I did a video about him a while back. Um, but it doesn't matter because our country operates differently, and we're better off for it that it operates differently. It's there is a reason that there's three branches, co-equal branches of government in the United States, and not that everything in the U.S. is perfect, but those checks and balances keep things from getting too carried away in any direction under any president, Democrat or Republican. Right? It's There's checks and balances to prevent tyrants, and this is going to be very interesting because Trump says a lot of way out shit, but if they insist on giving a middle finger to the court on this issue, then I think it's pretty clear that the rule of law then in this country doesn't exist anymore, right? And it's that's it. The only co-equal branch voted 9-0. Duke can be deported. Who said Duke could be deported? And again, the question is not can he be deported. The question is was he deported in the right way? That's the question. What's up, Irony? Troops, Boss Lady, Jetstone, Denver Maid. I'm trying to catch up now. Major League Villains. Fume, Smiley from East Los. Thank you, Salinas. K-Town, Ill Will. No place for runs up. Facts. The news are saying he's now free in El Salvador. He has only been arrested. No, that's not true. What's up, Papa 831? YouTube Tijuana 2025. Salud desde Rosarito. Steve G, I didn't know you advocated against women beaters. I do actually advocate against women beaters. I'm not in favor of people putting their hands on women. Jaime Contreras, good to see you. Civil unrest and collapse is coming. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. And it'll be interesting. For every court that says he can't, there's one that says he can. That's not true. The Supreme Court has already said he should come back. There's no courts right now. So courts have levels of authority, right? And courts are on his ass from multiple angles. The whole concept of the deportation flights, again, was unconstitutional. And people say, well, he doesn't have any rights because he didn't come here legally. That's not the way that it works. Yes, to some degree, there are certain rights afforded people who are U.S. citizens that are not afforded people who are not, right? You can't vote, right, if you're not a U.S. citizen. You can't do certain things if you're not a U.S. citizen, right? So there's some rights. But largely those rules, it's to govern our behavior. It's to have boundaries on how our system operates, right? He is still protected by the Constitution in this country, right? Seems the executive branch doesn't care about what the judicial branch press. Exactly. And that mentality is dangerous. It's less about this individual, right? It's less about him as a person and more about what this says about the administration and how they feel about what they can and cannot do, right? And so, but the laws apply. So cops can't kill people, right? A cop can't just walk up to you and shoot you because he's mad at you, right? Why can't he do that? Because the Constitution says that you can't, and the rules and the laws and everything else, right? It doesn't change if the person wasn't born here, right? That doesn't change what the cops can and can't do. If a judge issues an order and says these this is what needs to happen, right? Then that's what needs to happen. It's a binding order. What a whack dude. It's good to see you, homie. Hey, I hope you're feeling better. I seen your IG post the other day, man, and I pray that things are looking better for you, bro. They were absolutely picking and choosing. Right now I'm on my early 420. That's right. Notice how every conservative argument is geared to give you a radical ultimatum and tries to rile you up. No basis on facts and constitution only matters. Right. And that's the thing. And Dubs was talking earlier about, emotion, right? That and it's not just that the cop will be held accountable, it's that the other person has rights too. Right? There is levels, but okay, so let's take it from that angle then. Right? Cops can't arrest people with no probable cause, right? That's what they did to Kilmar. They arrested him with no probable cause. They had no reason to arrest him, right? And yet they did anyways. So let's not look at his right to not be arrested, and let's look at the cops' obligation to not arrest people with no probable cause, right? It's Hard Life Tony, good to see you. Pantera, good to see you. It does happen all the time. A lot of this stuff happens all the time, but again, that's why there's the checks and balances. There's avenues to appeal, right? There's ways to express your grievances. Um, and all of those get taken away. Like I said, there's the court of public opinion, which is where the administration is fighting its case, right? It wants to win its case in the court of public opinion because it is losing its case in the court of actual laws and facts and judges and evidence, right? It's it's losing every time it comes up in that shit, right? And so the public is getting mad because the public's like, damn fool, what are you doing? And again, it's less about him as an individual, and in my opinion, it's less about him as an individual and more about the relationship between the executive branch and the judicial branch. If they were to bring that dude back here, hold him in one of the many for-profit immigration centers that people who support the Trump campaign and work in the Trump administration have built since he's, you know, been elected. I haven't looked. I've seen a little bit about that case, but I have not looked much at it, so I can't even speak to it. To be honest with you, but it seems like it's getting a lot of attention. I'll wind up looking at it. Uh, but they're fighting it in the court of public opinion because they're losing it in the other courts. But that's why they want you to believe that those other courts don't matter, right? The courts is the crazy. It's a crazy judge. It's a liberal judge. It's a this. It's a that. Come on, bro. Come on now, right? Um, and so they're trying to sway public opinion, but I think it's backfiring because they're so egregiously wrong. Like there is not a legal justification for what they did, right? And what's done is done, but is it going to keep being done? Is it going to keep happening? And if so, then what does that say? Because you and I rely on the courts too, right? We all do. It, it we may not like the law, right? We may even engage in illegal activity. I don't. Some people might, right? But we also count on the law day to day. You know, it's so if the law don't matter, then fuck it, let's live that out, right? But folks ain't ready for that. Uh, that's we'll see. Uh, Sam Ramirez, good to see you. It is, but here's the thing. So They're being held in contempt, um, but the judges have power to refer you for arrest and prosecution, but they would have to rely on the federal government to do that, right? They would need to rely on the feds to arrest the person. A judge says Joe Blow is in contempt of court. The judge can't go arrest him. The judge doesn't have his own little squad. The judge tells the feds, and the U.S. Marshals go arrest you, or the FBI, or whoever goes and arrests you. All those people, though, answer to Trump, right? And so they're not going to do it. You know, they'll arrest other people that Trump doesn't like, but they're not going to arrest people that he does like. I feel like you're trolling now, Gibbs. Christian women for praying in front of abortion clinics. Isn't that protesting? I thought you were in favor of protesters getting arrested when it was the Black Lives Matter and all the other Antifa people protesting. You were in favor of them getting arrested, but don't arrest the Christian women for protesting. But it's the same act, right? And I haven't even heard about them being arrested, but I would assume if they're being arrested, it's not because of their beliefs, it's because of what they're doing. No, Gibbs, you're good. What's up, Clover 28? You're always welcome here. You're always welcome here. But what else you guys want to talk about? What other shit is in the news? Praying is different than destroying property. It is, but civil disobedience is civil disobedience. Sitting and blocking a road is sitting and blocking a road. Blocking a sidewalk is blocking a sidewalk, right? Regardless of what your reason is. But like I said, I have not heard of women getting arrested for protesting in front of abortion clinics, so I can't say specifically. But not all of those protests went violent either. Shit, the one attorney, the DA, she wound up getting her law license taken because she arrested a group of people and claimed they were a part of a gang and hit them with a RICO indictment. And their gang was ACAB, all cops are bastards, which is an expression. But she claimed that because they used that expression, that they're all part of a gang, and hit them with a RICO indictment and locked them all up. And they were just walking down the fucking street chanting, right? And so not only did she get fired from her job as a district attorney, but then she got her law license suspended for 2 years because they're like, you're a real fucking idiot. And she had been a DA for 15, 20 years. Something like that. That dude in Tijuana don't look like home. You know, the picture does look very different, huh? What's up, Saddle Pig? Good to see you. No notifications, huh? Yeah, they be giving me sometimes. So I'm not on here as much. But I really got to get back on the grind, man. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. That Big U indictment is still really interesting. And I've been watching some of the videos on it, and I don't really see people quite articulating what some of my points are on it. But go ahead, give me another topic. C-Dub in the building. What else you guys want to talk about? Probably. Probably do. Y'all don't think we got no plans on eat dinner, hang out a little bit? What do you think of APAC? All right, give me something a little less of a conversation. Like, I don't have a high opinion of him. I'll say that. But I don't. I don't want to get into all that. What's cracking in Sacramento cruising? Are you? Are you? I got a list of all the car club events and the different meet and greets and cruises and stuff, and I finally worked out a schedule with my kid's mom, and so I have them every other weekend, uh, and so I'm gonna look at that. There's some exceptions where we kind of rotate. Oh, okay. I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna look at that and uh, and try to line up sometimes where I can meet up with you guys. The Dirty Mac Listo. What's up, West Philly? Sucks driving by prison knowing your boys are behind it. Shout out to everyone behind them walls in Calipatria. Facts, Saddle Pit. Facts. I San Juan for Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, I will never go to San Juan for Cinco de Mayo again. Shout out to San Jose, but no. I got 5 tickets in 2 days in San Jose and hadn't done a single damn thing wrong. Like, they was just on me. Um, yeah, that's it. That was some years back, but San Jose doesn't like me. Uh, Warwick, Rhode Island. I never heard of that. Salute. Shout out Rhode Island. But yeah, I've been by Salinas Valley. I've been inside Pelican Bay. That was a trip. Hey, I had to parole and go to college in order to hit the yard in Pelican Bay instead of just a SUP program. But I did it. Uh, but other than that, I've been outside Salinas Valley. I've been outside Solano. San Quentin. I've been in San Quentin and out of San Quentin. Uh, the only prison I haven't driven by that I did time at was Corcoran. Was Corcoran. And shout out Corcoran. I've known some cool people from Corcoran, but not a whole lot of reasons to go drive by there. Uh, why is there no oversight on DAs? Man, for real. For real. Uh, yeah, Rhode Island is a small state. The Menendez brothers. Oh, I don't think they should get out. I don't think they should get out. Not because of the crime that they committed, uh, because I'm in favor of the youthful offender and the reconsideration and all that stuff, right? I support all that. Um, the reason that I don't think they should get out is because, oh, it's warm in here now, baby. Uh, is because everybody else who caught a case as a youngster and wants to get out has to admit fault for their crime, has to display an understanding of what led them to that point in their life and what they've done to heal from it. They have to take full responsibility. And those fucking clowns have never taken responsibility because I don't believe they ever got touched by their dad. I don't think that's true at all. There's no evidence that it's true. Their attorney made that shit up because that was, successful for her in a prior case. She had just had a death penalty case of a dude who killed his parents. And I think that dude probably was touched, but that was the defense. And he still got like boatload of time, but he didn't get the death penalty. So that was just her strategy. Because as a defense attorney, you don't have to be honest. You can throw wild theories out there, right? The DA has to be honest because you're operating on behalf of the government. You have the power to punish somebody. But a defense attorney can be like, man, what if Tony did it? Fucking Tony. What about Joe? Joe had a reason to do it. And Joe could have no reason to do it. Joe could have nothing to do with it. Joe could be nowhere involved. But nothing stops a defense attorney from trying to do that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's rules of evidence. There's some, safeguards and some protections. You can't just introduce any theory. That's what the issue with the whole touching thing was in the first trial was, or in the first trial was there's no evidence. You can't harp on this when there's nothing to suggest that it actually happened, right? Like there's levels to it. But you could throw some red herrings out there, and I think that's where it comes from. So I think they lied. I think they killed him because they were just spoiled fucking kids, and their dad was gonna cut him off. They didn't want to get cut off, so they cut him off. College of the Redwoods, that's right. Shout out College of the Redwoods. Dreamfish, Colorado River. Legalize it. I live in Cork. Okay. Shout out Cork. What's up, Demonic? I see this tiny town all day. DAs lie with impunity. They do. They do. I know you have Gibbs. Absolutely. Maxine, salute. Spanx Contreras. What's going on, man? Good to see you. My homie murdered at 17, busted at 20. 26 years later, he gets no. He was a kid, let him out. Yeah, I agree with that. What's up, High Power Fitness? Good to see you, homie. I've been well. I've been well. It's the better storyteller. It is the better storyteller. Yep, it is. What's up, the RZA? It's good, man. It's good. I'm enjoying being back out there. I'm not out there at this moment, right? I'm back in Nevada for the moment, but I'm enjoying being back out there. Been spending a ton of time with my kids, and it's the little stuff, right? It's taking them to their activities. It's them, dropping off their stuff in the morning before they go to class, or it just parenting. I enjoy parenting, and they need some help, right? They they're great kids. They're not being the most focused at the moment, and so, but they're improving, and I'm thankful to be a part of that. Brody, bro, Yacht Life, shout out Antioch. Brent should go home if the Menendez go home. Man, he should go home. So, and I'm gonna have Brant Daniel on the channel, right? Also known as Two Scoops or Scoops. And some of you guys have probably seen other videos that people have made about him. But I'm gonna have him on the channel next week for sure, and we're gonna talk. And we talk frequently. Great conversations, man. I think both of us would agree that it's a very unlikely, kind of unpredicted connection. Given our histories, but one that I appreciate and value. Just on a personal level. But so for those that are unfamiliar with his situation, and we'll talk more about it when he's on the channel. He got sentenced to 3 life sentences as a kid, right? As a teenager. And nobody was hurt, right? Nobody was hurt. He got charged with 3 counts of first-degree attempted murder. He fired a gun in the direction of people. Nobody was hit by any of the projectile of the gun. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was injured. Nobody got a scratch, right? Probably wet their pants a little bit, puckered up a bit, right? Got a cramp like a little Charlie horse from puckering up. But other than that, nobody was hurt. And he was arrested, right? And attempted murder on all 3 of them, because that's how the law works. And he got some horrible legal advice and took it to trial. And at trial, he lost. And the DA at trial, told the jury, like, hey, man, this dude needs to go to prison for a couple years and calm his ass down, right? And maybe that'll help him for the rest of his life. Instead, he was sentenced to life in prison for each case. 3 life sentences in prison, but not a single person getting hurt. Now, since he's been in prison, there's been some incidents, but that's a different story, right? The youthful offender law is about what you went to prison for. He got 3 and correcting the ridiculous sentences that a lot of young people were getting, right? 3 life sentences when the motherfucker never even got hurt. If that's not ridiculous, I don't know what is. So yeah, he absolutely should go home. He should have gone home a long time ago. But we'll talk more about that. Catch up on here. Salute. Ross speaks hot, so I tapped in. I like what I hear. I appreciate that, Rich G. I'm a big fan of his content, man, and respect him as a person. Shout out to all the Avenue to Giants. Need to make that drive again. The worst thing a teenager can be is bored. Facts. Facts, man. Man, you're in between Fernley and Sparks, homie. Closer to Sparks. At 19, the violence wouldn't have happened if they hadn't taken Brand's help, right? Brand said right on. Yeah, off top, for sure. Salute, bro. We'll talk again soon. But it's, yeah, that shouldn't have happened, right? That sentence shouldn't happen. But it, yeah. So you're right though. If he should get out, whether the Menendez brothers get out or not. But if the Menendez brothers do get out, get the fuck out of here. I am. Boredom and idle hands, yeah. Yep, that's what it is. And it was the 90s. Man, if you weren't a young teenager in the 90s or a teenager in the 90s, it's hard to explain in California, right? I think anywhere in California, but I'm gonna say Northern California specifically because that's what. Oh, is that right? Yeah, we'll tap in. Um, if if you weren't a teenager in Northern California, at least, and I'm not saying that because Southern California wasn't like this. I'm saying it because I don't know how Southern California was. Uh, it's hard to explain what it was like in the streets. You know, it was the prison boom. People were getting a boatload of time, and everybody was banging, right? Everybody was banging. It's skaters were running around getting off on people. You know, stoners and it's if you were a teenager in the 90s and kind of dodged bullets, you lived in the suburbs. Yeah, it's there was an infatuation with gangbanging and violence, and that doesn't mean that everybody was with the business, but everybody was outside, right? Not everybody, but everybody was outside, and if you were outside, the chances are um, you were gonna get caught up, right? You were gonna get caught up, and once you got in the system, it, it seemed almost impossible to get out. And then you got to think about our parents, and I'm not talking about anybody else's parents, but uh, the lack of parenting, right? The amount of parents that was on drugs or that were caught up in going to prison or just weren't around for whatever reasons, and it seem like everybody was outside. You know, we walked for miles and miles and miles, and but I was outside till 2 o'clock in the morning when I was 11 years old, like nothing, right? Like it's and I wasn't running around shooting people at 11 years old, but I was outside. And when you live in the hood and you're outside, you're gonna see some shit. And so those of us that were teenagers in the 90s that come from neighborhoods where stuff was happening, right? Then you were young and impressionable in the 80s. Yeah. Yeah, in the 80s, right? When you're 10 years old and the shit you're seeing outside, man, crack had just hit the streets. Violence was through the roof. Uh, People were making money, right? And so as a young kid, you're exposed to all of this. You see all of this. The chaos and the trauma and the dysfunction is normalized when you're really young. So by the time you hit 15, 16, fuck, you're a hardcore, sophisticated criminal, you know? And you get caught up in the system, they were never letting you go. They were never letting you go. Right? And there was no cameras everywhere. Yeah, you can get away with a lot of shit. And that was part of the problem too. A lot of us got away with a lot of stuff, and then every once in a while you get popped. Right? But it's like we saw the invention of the gang task force, you know, and just it was a different era. So I say all that to say, kids that caught cases, right? Young folks that caught cases in the 90s, think you have to take into consideration what the 90s was like, you know, and how easy it was to catch a case and how easy it was to get a boatload of time, you know, and and then you go to prison, and because I went into prison in the mid 90s, prison was different. There was no end to hostilities. There was lots of hostilities. It was very hostile, right? It's and then we saw radical change in prison. I thought I saw the most transformative era in prison until in the hostilities, suit kickouts, and that kind of stuff. Like when I went into prison, there was weights. There was no grooming standards. Lifers had night yard, and there was photo ducats on the yard. My lady and I were looking at some pictures, right? Some Polaroids of some of my buddies on the yard. She was like, "How'd that happen?" I was like, "Oh man, you go to canteen, you get a photo ducat. There's a guy in the yard that takes pictures. They took all that shit away, right? Took all that away, and put lifers on close custody status and all that. Like we had hot pots. Man, when I hit the level 3, oh, we had hot pots. Dudes had iron trunks, right, for their property. Like it was different, right? It was different, and saw prison take all that away, right? We still got oranges, right? We still got oranges. You could smoke in prison, you know. It's and all that changed, but in part of all that changing, right? There was no PC, right? When I first came in prison, you just go sit in ad check for the rest of your life if you can't go outside and play nice with others. If you're scared, go sit in the hole, right? And that was it. Or you go get put on a yard and hide until somebody finds you over there and gets you, right? But they changed that culture, you know, and in changing that, there was a lot of violence and there was a lot of validations. They started throwing everybody in the shoe. You know, I don't know how dudes do 10, 15 years in prison and don't get validated, right? If you're, running with the North or running with the South or running with the Woods, I don't know how you don't get validated, right? In that era, like it was easy, you know. And then they just throw you in a shoe, and you're just sitting there forever, right? And thankfully, I had a release date, so I didn't have to sit in there forever. But you think about Brant's case, right? Scoop's case. I shot a dude in the neck and paralyzed him, and I got to come home. He shot a gun in the direction of somebody and didn't even hit him, and got to do all those life sentences. Like, but there was radical injustice in the system, and it was crazy then, right? And you would see somebody doing life, and somebody else with the same case doing 3 years, right? And so, yeah, you go to prison, you got a life sentence anyways. Why not? Why not act a fool, right? What's your incentive not to? It, the government just told you that they're never going to let you out. Okay, cool. If I'm gonna be stuck in here, I'm gonna make the best of it, right? And it's, nobody knew then that they were gonna turn around in fucking 40 years, 30 years, and change the laws, you know. So, uh, oh, I do, Theodore, I do, man. I I'm happy to be free. I enjoy my freedom every day. I am happy with the choices that I made in life uh, that have allowed me to have the position in life that I do. Absolutely, and I want other folks to have that opportunity also. You know, and even more so, I want people to not have to go through what I went through to reach the point of making better decisions. You know, it's all about exposure. A lot of us, we don't know no better before we go to prison because we ain't seen nothing. We haven't been anywhere. We haven't seen anything. We're young and we're from the hood and we do hood shit. And that's it. It's not complicated. It's not fucking rocket science. And don't get the chance to see a bigger picture. There is no bigger picture. It's survival. Survival is one step above death. And that's the priority every day. And you get older, you get to see a little bit more. You know, you learn a little bit more. You get to meet different people. And and that changes your perspective on things. You know, then you get to start living instead of just surviving. That's the difference. Salute Droops. J Ram, South Central, low scandalous. That's right. South Central. Did Maniac get at you, Josh? Did Maniac get at you? Maniac from where? Oh, Trollo Juan. Um, no, we talk. You know, we message back and forth on IG. You know, uh, but yeah, well, it's I seen his video. His video inspired me. But I like Cholo Juan's content. Cholo Juan is dope. I don't. It's he has a dope lane of content. Uh, oh, okay. You know what? I haven't checked my IG messages. That would have been where he got at me. So I'll look. I haven't really been on social media like that. I'll go through and try to answer a couple comments or at least heart them. You know. And I'll go into my IG messages, and I'm not some super popular dude that's got hundreds of messages, right? But I do get a handful, and they get kind of backed up a little bit, and they show you the newest ones first. So I've been chilling, bro. Me and my lady been kicking it. Went to downtown Reno yesterday. Walked around and went over by the river and just had a blast, man. Had a blast. Took some pictures. I'm gonna send some pictures to Scoops. Took some pictures and tripped out on some of the characters, right? Because downtown anywhere's got characters, and Reno is certainly no exception. Boy, they got some winners down there. And so tipped out on them and uh, and yeah, it was great. What's up, King Kong? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm heartbroken. This is the first 420 in 30 years. I'm not gonna be able to smoke trees. Even locked up, I always plays. Man, sorry to hear that, Palmetto. No edibles or nothing, huh? Little Hefe One, good to see you. Good to see you, bro. I just told him since you mentioned it last time. That's cool, man. Don't fuck it up like that last time. I didn't mess it up the last time. I didn't mess it up. I didn't say or do nothing. Uh, nah, Tolawan's good people, man. Tolawan is good people. Lil Hefe One, I'm out in Nevada at the moment, but in general, oh, don't mess it up with my lady. Yeah. No, we good. We good. I just, sometimes I make irrational decisions. It's, but, nah, we're good, bro. We're good. That's the love of my life, man. She's probably in there laughing right now because I'm sure she's watching. It ain't always our fault. It ain't always our fault. But that one was. Palmetto better ring that bell, call the nurse, and push that button. I understand, what is this 420? I know it's about smoking weed, but why is it a thing? It's police code for smoking in progress. Is that right? I never knew that. I mean, I don't really smoke weed, right? That I never, but it's very, 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 very rare. And so, I never actually paid much attention to it, to be honest. Oh, baby, there we go. CC is watching. Tulsa, Oklahoma City, 918, bro. Shout out Oklahoma City. I appreciate you. No one knows what 420 means. It's just a thing and everyone agrees with it. That's where I was at, Luke. That's where I was at. I was like, oh, it's just 420. At some point, somebody made up with it, and now they just do it. Bunch of kids from San Rafael used to meet at 420 and smoke, and it just blew up. Not the San Rafael kids. Who would the Dallas Cowboys draft with the 12th pick? It ain't gonna matter. They're gonna be trash. Lee Powers. 420 was Hitler's birthday. It is. I thought it was Fish 420 band from when I got High Times. Not High Times. I remember High Times magazine. That's the other thing that kids these days don't understand or remember, right? Oh, yeah, happy birthday to your dad. Is magazines. Man, we had magazines. And I don't know, it's funny, man. There's a lot of stuff from my childhood that my kids don't know nothing about. Just dial this number. But dial really makes no sense in a modern context. Nobody has rotary phones anymore. Shit, maps. The idea of maps. Kids ain't never seen no damn map. They got map quests. Yeah, encyclopedias, right? Encyclopedias. I steal the whole racks of High Times for the gas station and had all the centerfold posters on the wall. That's right. That's right. Well, look, guys, it's been fun, ladies and gents. It's about an hour and 15 minutes in. I don't want to make this too long. Remember that dude, Cesar Hernandez? His butt chin. The Thomas guy, right? Shit, even when I drove to Florida, I had to go down to AAA and get a whole bunch of them though, to cover all the different states, right, from California to Florida. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna tap out. Smells like the food is almost ready. I'm famished. I appreciate you all. Help others move in excellence. That's what homies do. Help yourself at the same time because you're worth it. Help your community because they need you. And stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. I know I keep saying I'm gonna get back on the content, and then I do like one video a week. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it, and it'll be worth it, right? It'll be worth it. And if there's anything in particular you guys want me to talk about, I'm gonna look at this Carmelo Anthony thing or whatever. But other than that, anything else, just get at me. Shoot me a DM, leave me a comment, let me know, and I'll do my best. So, all right, guys, take care. Oh, and subscribe to, hold on, before we go, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to pin it right here. There we go. That channel right there, Solid Behind Blue Eyes, man. If you're interested in what's going on in the California Department of Corrections, that is the channel to tune into, right? Because it's somebody that's inside the California Department of Corrections. And like I said, we got some stuff coming next week. We got to do some content before he goes to the feds, and maybe we'll talk about that too. All right, so guys, have a good one.